Happy Devils Tuesday. This is the Woo Report. The Woo Report. Coming to you live from the Primetime Radio Studios. The Mobile Command Center. Somewhere in Edison, New Jersey. I moved spots from the Morning Woo. Streaming live on Facebook Live, YouTube Live, X Live, Twitch, and now on Instagram Live on the Let's Go Devils Network. Yep. Coming live from the Primetime Radio Studios Mobile Command Center to talk a little Devils hockey in this beautiful, cold, it's actually 42 degrees Fahrenheit, Tuesday afternoon, December 16th. But the headlines, I'm all confused. I'm going to sift through this. But is Jack Hughes back sooner than expected? Earlier today, Sheldon Keefe spoke to reporters. James Nichols put it on X, when I saw his feed saying that Jack Hughes not close to coming back. But then Darren Dregar put it out there. And let's see if I can grab that, because Tom sent this to me earlier that Dregar on early trading, Jack Hughes is not that far behind. He's likely going to return earlier than expected. We all did see that video yesterday. Again, all speculation as well. But, as what Tom said, Sheldon Keefe said the same thing about Dadonov, and Dadonov came back 2 days later. So I will take, James Nichols, great reporter, getting it straight from the horse's mouth. But at the same time, did Sheldon Keefe get the memo, or is he, not leaking anything to the press? But yeah. But Jack Hughes is probably going to be, I'm thinking probably going to be back sooner rather than later. Ryan Novozinsky tweeting out, you can find him at Ryan Nova NHL. This exactly wouldn't shock me at all if Keefe was playing it coy today and Jack was back sooner rather than later. And I'm sure Sheldon Keefe, knowing him, was not too happy, not too pleased that a video was leaked out of both Pesce and Jack practicing by themselves on the practice rink ice yesterday that was circling around social media. Again, James Nichols, you can find him at James Nichols NHL. Per Keefe, Nemec will be reevaluated in 2 weeks. Don't expect him back until after the holidays. I believe he is out. I'm not sure if he was put on IR. There's no timeline on Arseny Gritzik yet. He's still being evaluated. Dadonov a ways away, and Jack Hughes not close, but who knows? But what we do know is Brett Pesce, barring any kind of significant setback, I think he will be making the trip to Vegas and actually playing tomorrow night against the Vegas Golden Knights out in Vegas. So that seems to be positive and great news. Also, let's see here. Some other stuff coming from Amanda Stein that you can find her at Amanda C. Stein on X. Lots of moving parts because Nason and Glass joined in together. McLaughlin left. He was wearing a non-contact jersey, likely out there, just a bit of a test. But the lineup looks like first line Heischer, Mercer on the right wing, Bratt on the left wing. Second line, they had McLaughlin in at center, but Brown and Palat as wingers. Lamico is centering Legare, who's called up yesterday, I believe, or today, and Cotter on the left wing, and rounding out the fourth line, Glendening with Cruikshank and Perrant, who was both called up from Utica a few days ago, has played with the New Jersey Devils. So, a very thin lineup right now without Timo Meier, without Jack Hughes, amongst others. And defensively, it's nice to see Siegenthaler with Hamilton, Luke Hughes with Brett Pesce, and Dylan with Colton White, Chalowski and Addison Odd man is out, and I guess it was Markstrom and Allen obviously practicing today. So that's all I got for you. But, if Jack Hughes is back, that will definitely help, obviously. I'm stating the obvious. The New Jersey Devils. Looking at your comments in the YouTube Live right now. Max says, thank God. Oh, yeah. Anthony LaPena, good afternoon, Mr. Wu. Happy Devils Tuesday. Well, happy Devils Tuesday to you and Tori and family, Anthony LaPena. Roman says, do we all bring plastic cups down to the Rock to celebrate? Why not? Why not? I would. Jack can only use solo cups and plastic utensils while wrapped in bubble wrap. I still think he could get hurt, Anthony. Lupus not is. Happy Devils Tuesday to you. Sorry I missed earlier. I was busy programming. Sam, let me know if you want to send my address for the fortune cookies. Yeah, send that to me. Sam at letsgodevils.com is my email. Please send that to me. I'd like to get that out to you before Christmas. Lupus not is. Johnny Dangs. Hey, Sam, did you see Quinn's presser taking a shot at Fitz, saying other teams should have sacked up and traded for me? Something like that. Hashtag fire Fitz. I'll be honest with you. And I've been always honest with you, the fans. Believe it or not, what Quinn said in that presser, although hilarious, actually rubbed me the wrong way. As critical as I've been and holding Tom Fitzgerald accountable, I didn't think that was necessary for Quinn Hughes to say that. I think he's obviously sending a message to Tom Fitzgerald through the media, which is a turnoff to me. All that kind of drama should stay in the room, not played out in the press. That surprised me. And to me, that's a turnoff to the point where I don't want this baggage on my team. If that's the way he is, I don't know. I'll give him a pass because he's excited of where he's at. I mean, I know that he's probably pissed off he was that close of playing with his brothers, but all I have to say is, then why did you sign this 7-year deal with Vancouver in the first place? You knew that your brothers were eventually going to be playing in the NHL. If you really wanted, you should have been thinking ahead and signed a bridge deal. I'm sure Vancouver would have never gone for that. I'm sure you went for the money, but that's what happens when you sign a contract like that. Don't blame Fitzy. Fitzy, although he could have done a better job, and we here on the Let's Go Devils podcast, we were giving you all the scenarios and details that are now coming out a week later, a few days later after the trade saga concluded. We told you what was going to happen. Fitzy simply didn't have the money. He was backed in a corner. It's not like other teams don't have a lot of, it's now almost, with this generation of NHL players, it's almost boilerplate right now to give them these no movements, probably in exchange for a lesser price on the deal, on the contractual deal, or maybe they are, game changers to getting them signed a contract. But I didn't appreciate those comments from Quinn Hughes. That's just me. To me, he almost sounds like a spoiled brat a little bit, that he didn't get what he wanted. I get it. He's upset. I get it. He was that close. But say that behind closed doors. Don't say that in front of the media, because this is how you burn bridges. But then again, will Tom Fitzgerald last and be here this long? Again, I don't want to harp on Quinn, but if it were up to me, I would just said, I appreciate my GM making the sacrifice to get me here because I'm really happy here. I would have said that, not, other GMs like sack up, and didn't offer price. This was about money, Quinn. This was about trying to move mountains salary cap issues to facilitate a trade to New Jersey because your brothers and yourself want to be on the same team. I truly believe Fitzy was trying, but it's an uphill battle. And do you know what it's like for Fitzy to go to the players and ask them to move their no trade clauses to facilitate this trade? Every one of them said no. Nobody wants to go to Vancouver. Nobody. Who wants to be part of that? And I think that's what happened. I wouldn't take it personally, Quinn. I would just be very fortunate that somebody wanted you that badly. You're on a fresh start in Minnesota. I never thought it was automatic that you would come to New Jersey, because a lot of things can happen between now and July 1st or to the end of the contract. And that's the reality of it. Maria, happy Devil's Tuesday. Yeah, so I owe an explanation what happened on the Morning Woo. We are very fortunate that we have a robust system here at the Let's Go Devils podcast. You know, we do a lot of research and development. Obviously, I'm doing this in the middle of nowhere in Edison, New Jersey, doing this live podcast, talking to you while I'm at work, playing a little hooky. And it's very rare this happened, but we had no cellular signal for about 15 minutes. Our backup is our Starlink, and our Starlink just happened to be doing a live update while we were live in the middle of a podcast. And I actually, you didn't see it, but you can listen on to the replay. I actually drove around to try to get better signal in hopes that I get a cellular tower to continue the podcast, which is very dangerous to do, but there were no cars on the road. It's actually a private road that I was on, and I was unsuccessful. I do apologize, but that's something that's never happened before, but will be duly noted as we do these podcasts, because I hate when we have technical issues with this podcast. So, yeah, and Max, yeah, and that's the other thing. Quinn accidentally left his hockey gear in Jack's car and didn't know about it. Like, that's what it was reported. Like, how irresponsible can you be? I mean, anyway, I'm sure it happens, but, you know. But then again, you know, I grew up in a different time where I actually had to carry my own hockey bag. My hockey bag didn't have wheels, and back in the day, equipment was much heavier than it is today. But that's just me. I can't stand it when parents carry their kids' hockey bags. You know, unless you're 6 years old, that's one thing. You know, there's that one commercial. I forgot what commercial. They play it on MSG Networks. It's a car commercial where the mom, I think it's Jag Therapy, maybe. I forgot what commercial it is, where the mom is carrying all the freaking equipment while the freaking kid's doing nothing but sucking on, you know, on a soda or whatever. And it's like, come on, carry your own equipment. That's just me. I don't get it with kids today. And besides, you have wheels on these hockey bags. My hockey bag didn't have wheels. Are you kidding me? It barely had zippers that worked. Let's see here. Roman, anyone else prefer we go after Robertson and put a package together for him than Quinn? The problem with Quinn is, again, not that I want to bow down to the Hughes family, but that might alter Jack's thinking during contract time. I think it's more advantageous to bring Quinn in than not have Quinn Hughes here if I were to weigh the pros and cons to this whole, you know, Hughes family saga that will now continue for the next, or at least for the next year. Let's see here. Apparently Tuck is on the ledger. That's interesting. Phil Dano has requested a trade out of L.A. Do we jump? Yeah, it was out there that a couple teams are kicking the tires on that one. Montreal, Devils, and Carolina all looking for that centerman. It makes about, I believe, $5 million AAV. Blocks a heck of a lot of shots. I mean, he's a guy that we need, but the big prize would be Ryan O'Reilly. But again, the big prize means you have to give up big to get. And again, is Fitzy really wanting to expend that much capital on these short-term players with the New Jersey Devils? Anthony Penn says, go for Tuck. Well, we shall see. Thank you, Lupus Not Is. Well, it's Anthony, number one Devils podcast in the country. Anthony Penn said, I appreciate all the work you bring us. Absolute best Devils podcast possible. I'm not going to say the C word. That's a big no-no for me. Always something 17 Devils cap is too to think about trades unless you get rid of big contracts. Again, we talked about this on the Let's Go Devils podcast. This is nothing new. It's just amazing how the media is talking about it right now, which I find funny because we've been talking about this for weeks. It should be nothing new to you. Shouldn't be new. But, you know, Brett Pesce is going to be back. Jack Hughes most likely is going to be back. That's my gut instinct on it. Darren Dregar reporting. Again, Darren Dregar, credible insider. James Nichols, credible reporter. Sometimes you get conflicting, but if you look at it logically, Sheldon Keefe is never going to show his cards, and Darren Dregar is always going to be digging for gold. Some news. Max says Devils trade Hamilton and one of his 10-team approved trade lists for future considerations. We need his contract off the books to make it happen. That's what we need. Yeah, and we do the football calls. We do the football calls based on Hamilton now. It started off with Andre Johnson. Then the John Marino football calls were legendary. Then we switched to Dougie Hamilton. We hadn't done one in a while. And then Dougie had like a 3-point night, and that was the night that Scotty, a Sirius XM Liquid Metal on Devils After Dark, he forgot that we had a game. So we haven't really done many football calls this year here on the Let's Go Devils podcast. But I'm sure we'll figure it out. Maybe Angus Crookshank will be the next guy if Dougie leaves. Dougie to the Leafs seems to be talked about. Not sure what the Leafs cap looks like, though. Again, money talks, folks. Money is everything. You're in the salary cap era. It's all about the money. Do you have the room? Which GMs are budgeting? Which ones are not? Which ones are caught off guard, like Tom Fitzgerald? What has happened has happened. Again, you got Vegas on Wednesday, 10 p.m. Eastern start. It's going to be a quadruple header Wednesday. Happy Devils Wednesday tomorrow with the Morning Woo, the State of the Fan Address presented by pucksandpitchforks.com. Then we switch over to Game Day Live, and then Devils After Dark, and then we have the Morning Woo. 5 podcasts in a 24-hour period. We're giving you the coverage, folks, as they come, as news breaks, as news comes. So this is the Woo Report, Stanley. This is the Woo Report. Coming to you live from the Primetime Radio Studios Mobile Command Center somewhere in Edison, New Jersey. Traveling today from site to site. Talking Devils hockey. This is what we do. Also, while I have you on, January 6th, some programming notes here. January 6th, we have collaborated with Danielle McCartan. we're going to be traveling. She has a sports travel company she just started. The first one up on the docket, Devils Islanders. What does this mean? It's on the road. We're going to have our very first road trip. I'll be on this bus. One pricing gets you a ticket, transportation, all right, food before the game. She's got this bar all reserved with food, booze, drinks, I believe, game ticket, and then afterwards a ride back. It leaves from Secaucus at 4 p.m. Eastern. I'll be on the bus. I might do a Woo report on the bus. It's kind of like Air Force One. You know, when Air Force One, the president of the United States goes from the plane to Marine One and all that kind of stuff. Like, yeah, it's kind of like the mobile command center will be on that bus. I'll do a Woo report, and then we'll do Game Day Live at the venue outside of the Islanders Arena, and I'll do Devils After Dark on the bus ride home. And for more information, email me at sam@letsgodevils.com. Again, sam@letsgodevils.com. Always something 17 is calling the Woo Bus One. Again, Woo Bus One. Johnny Dang says, Sam, can you work on bringing callers and subscribers live on air with you to vent out frustrations with you? LOL. You know what? We do have a $5,000 telephone interface system that we did use in the beginning of this fine programming. It got to be a little difficult because it's already difficult for me to produce and be host at the same time. So it would require another host so I can go screen the calls or something like that, or we can kind of pre-plan it, something like that. Let me think about that. Because we've done it before in the past. But then sometimes some callers would accidentally throw the F-bomb, non-intentional, whatever. So I think what we're going to do is maybe we'll have like kind of a subscription model where you are a vetted Let's Go Devils podcast fan. You'll have a big V next to your name, and maybe that's something we can do. I'm also working on the merch as well. Woo Bus One. Yes. There's different pricing for upper, lower, and mezzanine seating, but it's one price, and you get all of it. It depends what tier you want. But basically, you pay, and you forget about it. You forget everything other than show up. I mean, it doesn't get easier than that. And I have my faith in Danielle. She does sports travel. Like, personally, she goes all over the place. She's very experienced with that. So, always something 17 said, you never understand me if I call. Americans just nod and smile at me for the most part. Well, you know what? I'll nod to you right now. You see that? Always something 17? Let's see. I'm debating going. Is it anyone else? Yeah, Tom, I've actually got a few people DMing me very interested. I think so far, we have like 6 or 7 people right now, including myself, but I haven't even promoted it yet. We're going to try to get Danielle on the podcast to talk a little bit more about her company, how it works. I'd rather you hear from the source than me telling you what to do. But, yeah, I like to get this thing going, folks, because what about a garden invasion one day? A garden invasion. You just put down your money, whatever it costs, because, things cost money to make this happen. And then you just go, transportation all provided for you. You go to the bar, you're having booze, you're having food, and then you go to the game, you kick the Rangers' butt, and then you get back on the bus, and then you got Devils After Dark to listen to. You can listen to Scotty rant. I'll start ranting. You're on the bus. You're like, woo, We're in the tunnel. I was like, yeah, I know. Anyway. Are all the seats together? I don't think so, Maria. That's a good question. I'm going to talk to Danielle about that. If you want to sit next to me, maybe I'll just tell you which package to order. I think there's a 100, 200, and 300 package. One's more expensive than the other. But yeah, I would entertain people sitting next to me. Also, Mrs. Wu probably needs you to look after me because, she usually bails me out of situations when we go to. I'm actually more well behaved when Mrs. Wu is around. When I'm not supervised, when I'm unsupervised, you'll never know what's going to come. I might dress up like Marty Brodeur to this game. I don't know. Let's see here. Always something 17. Wu might need to offer emotional support for sad fans. LOL. Yeah. Tom said you can request to sit next to certain people. It said, yeah. And also Danielle McCartan, she's got her gig at WFAN. She's a school teacher as well. I really want to see this get off the ground and make this collaboration grow. Because we've talked about doing stuff, but we kind of aimed high a little bit in the beginning about this private jet. But let's back it up. I think we'll be in flying buses before we get our private jet to these games. But all great suggestions here on the Let's Go Devils podcast Woo Report 467 today. Very, very, very nice. I love the suggestions that everyone's making. Let's see what else here. Yeah, but there's no debating here, Tom. You just got to try it once. This is our kind of like our trial run. You'll be the guinea pig. Like the Devils. They have the original Devils, of 1982, and also rest in peace. Paul Gagne passed away. Original Devil, started his career, I believe, with the Colorado Rockies just recently. We'll have a little bit more about him as well. But yeah, so, I'm putting it out there. For more information, just email me, Sam at letsgodevils.com, Sam at letsgodevils.com. Also, I probably put it out. We have our email distribution list. Remember, anything that's cool, we'll email blast something, where we'll be at and all. But I can't wait for this Devils Islanders trip. It's a Tuesday. I believe it's Tuesday, January 6th. And then we leave 4 p.m. from Secaucus to Long Island. And let me tell you, I'm a Mets fan. I hate driving to Long Island. I hate it. I hate driving through, like, GWB. But when you got a bus full of Devils fans and you're doing the podcast on the bus, lots can happen. And, maybe I'll throw some incentives in there for you to sign up. It'll be a trip of a lifetime. We'll have memories. We'll talk about it on the podcast. We'll take pictures, all that jazz. And hopefully Jack Hughes will be back by then. Hopefully. Always something 70. Have you got over Pete Alonso? He's dead to me right now. So there you go. Am I banned for asking? No. He's dead to me right now. I don't know who he is. Let's see here. Non-scoring body. Yeah, well, I'm looking for options. I just don't want Fitzy to just mortgage the future on this team that, again, I don't think the foundation is there. You can make some tweaks here, but don't mortgage the future. Sam, buy a short bus and get it wrapped in Devils colors and decals and travel the country. You know what? I love the short bus. I was on the short bus going to high school. Anthony Penny says, hey, Sam, Tori just got home from school. Says, tell you this, hello, I miss you. I miss you too, Tori. It's a dangerous world out there. I need your black belt. I'm telling you, these 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 Girl Scouts, I fear them. They're just like that little militia, and especially when we're playing Vegas, I'm sure they're going to be hunting me down, but I'm not going to that game. I would go to Vegas with Tori because I know that I'll be safe. Yeah, that Vegas trip is legendary, I'm telling you. And that Arizona trip, if you remember, well, instead of watching it, why don't you be there with us? You never know. You never know if one of us goes crazy on that trip. Let's see here. I hear Lindor to San Diego. Again, it's all noise. Who knows? Love the positive vibes today until we get our butts spanked tomorrow. Hey, you know what? Today's another day. Tomorrow's another day. Live in the moment today. That's what I say. Maybe the injuries happened this early this year, and then we're healthy in the spring. The opposite of other seasons. Hey, you know what? I would entertain that right now, Tom. I totally entertain that. All right, I got to get out of here because, now rush hour traffic is about to start. I got to get back in, sign off my computer, and pretend like I worked all day. But I want to thank all those tuning in to this special Woo Report. How do you like the mobile command center? I'm bringing this to that Woo Bus 1 on Danielle's trip, or Danielle's organized trip with their new company, sports travel company, Danielle McCartan, WFAN. This is going to be great. But any information, email me at sam@letsgodevils.com. This will be our maiden voyage of doing something this cool, having our fans travel with the podcast. And what's great about it is Danielle's going to do all the work. We're just going to sign up, pay the bill. You could use Apple Pay. It's that easy. You got to sign a waiver. You got to make sure you're not like a douche, like a dirtbag. You're not going to sue her, that kind of stuff. And then we just have a good old time at the game. Go on the bus. You can relax. You can listen to the podcast. I'll do a Woo Report from the bus. I'll attempt to. I don't think I've ever done it, a live audience on a moving platform before, but we'll try it. Go through the tunnels. We'll go to the Long Island. We get there to the venue. We eat. I love to eat. Maybe I'll have a eating contest with somebody, and then we'll do Game Day Live there, and then go to the game, beat the Islanders, and come back on the bus. Do Devils After Dark with Scotty at SiriusXM Liquid Metal from his DeLorean in his Beverly Hills palatial estate. And then we get back to Scaucus, and we have memories to last a lifetime. Anyway, have a great rest of the day. We have a quadruple header Wednesday. Happy Devils Wednesday tomorrow. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Till next time, this is the Woo Report. Let's go, Devils.